So, it's been exactly 1 month since I brought my Entropia farm, and today we're going to find out if it was actually worth it. If you missed the first video, here's a condensed version. I spent 6,000 PEDs on the plot and then another 900 getting it into a usable state so that I could grow a Transgen Fruit. This has suddenly become really valuable thanks to the new fishing and cooking system. So after a month, have I made my money back? Not even close. But it's not quite as bad as you would think it was. So let's get into it. Keep watching till the end as I will put up the actual stats that I have tracked over the course of 30 days. So on my state, I can have 8 plots, which means that I can grow 8 different kinds of fruit. Sounds amazing, right? Well, in reality, keeping those plots running is incredibly expensive. On paper, planting those fruits cost 13.8 PEDs TT value. In practice, thanks to our good old friend markup, you're looking somewhere closer to 6 times that value. And that reason being DNA fragments. And I have actually developed a genuine hate for these DNA fragments. These DNA fragments are what I would now consider the most pointless item in the game right now. They were originally used for landowners so that they could create these things called DNA samples, which allowed them to add specific mobs onto their land areas. But after the landowners have established their mobs within that area, I assume they don't need these anymore. Therefore, these become null and void to them, unless they want to change up the mobs that they've put on their area. So the other reason to use these would be the farming system. You're only going to need DNA sample A to D. These barely drop from the mobs, so the markup definitely reflects this. The cheapest one being A and the most expensive one being B, around a 1,960% markup. Suddenly, that cheap crop no longer looks cheap anymore. So my first thought was, I'll just hunt these myself. That lasted about 2 hours. The creatures that drop these DNA fragments are either locked behind really long mission chains or are so high level that I'd spend way more PEDs hunting for them than just simply buying them off auction house. Even then, if I were to hunt for them, there is still no guarantee that they will actually drop. Let's move on to one of my favorite things about farming: unprocessed water. I genuinely do not understand why this exists. It's heavy, it can't be refined, it just fills your inventory and makes that walk back to the trade terminal like the walk of shame. Honestly, if MindArk actually changed this and lets us refine this directly into fertilizer instead of buying Melshi water, it would become instantly useful. Please, for the love of everything that is holy, let me use the unprocessed water. So, after all of this, was buying a plot worth it? Financially? Not yet. After a month, I've recovered 1,800 PEDs of my original investment. And because I have to keep buying more materials, my total investment has actually grown to over 9,000 PEDs. But here's the interesting thing. Farming finally feels alive again. There is more demand for fruit, and the prices are constantly changing every day. It's frustrating, expensive, and occasionally is making me question every financial decision I've ever made, but it is also one of the most interesting systems I have ever gotten into with Entropia. MindArk also recently teased that some of the plots are going to get different buildings, which I'm assuming are going to only be for the larger plots. I'm kind of hoping they do add something for the smaller plots to allow us to either put items outside or allow us to have more item points. Until then, I will keep farming, keep tracking every PED, and eventually we will find out if this investment was genius or one of the worst moves I've ever done with Entropia. If you do own a plot or you have got other farming experiences yourself with Entropia, please leave some comments down below, and I would love to hear your experience with the farming system. And I will see you all in the next one.